Hey guys, today I'm gonna do Green Lantern Emerald Dawn, which deals with how Hal Jordan became the Green Lantern. So here we have the cover, which is quite nice, and the story opens up on a young Hal Jordan watching his father fly an airplane for the Ferris company, and he's stubborn and he doesn't want to listen to everyone else, and he crashes and burns. And after that, we kind of meet Hal Jordan. He's a drunk, and he's driving this car, and he goes into this sign and paralyzes his friend, the best pilot in the company, and he's sent or demoted, to be honest, to only do simulations. And it kind of deals with how Green Lantern or Hal Jordan deals with responsibility for his actions and remorse. So he does simulations, and the simulator kind of goes crazy and it flies out. I didn't really like this part, but you could say the ring made it go like that because we kind of see the green trail right there. So we kind of see Abin Sur talking, and he's very, very philosophical. Order is a condition of logical arrangement among the separate elements of a group. It is a structure of social organization. And he kind of goes and says that since life forms aren't logical every time, it kind of creates illogical actions which lead to chaos. And he kind of goes to talk about the Green Lantern Corps, which is this organization that kind of tries to maintain the order of the universe. And Hal Jordan really can't believe what he sees. And Abin Sur just is very, very, or the ring of Abin Sur is very, very philosophical. And he kind of sees this green giant head talking to him, and he gets sent to the spaceship of Abin Sur, and kind of the ring kind of tried to explain to him, or Abin Sur, I'm not really sure. And this is Abin Sur, but it's also like the head, it's kind of his projection, and he kind of explains to him the ring and how it works, but in very, very philosophical terms. And it says that it has chosen Hal Jordan because of his great potential, and Hal Jordan kind of doesn't want it. And he kind of explains how the battery works. So the ring must be recharged once a day, and Abin Sur just dies after that. And then he gets the costume. You still can't believe most of it, but he talks. He kind of wishes to get out of here, and the rings kind of listens to him, and he kind of discovers his powers, or the ring's powers that it confers him. So this is the sign because of which he made the accident earlier. So now he kind of goes through it out of rage, and he kind of falls in a sleep, and has this dream about how he has the same accident as his father, and he imagines his father saying, "You just can't make me proud of you, can you, son?" This is a recurrent theme. This Green Lantern's story is that he always wishes for his father's approval, which he doesn't really get. Now we get to the second issue, which has this cover, which is like really, really cool. I really enjoyed this cover. And we kind of he kind of crashes his plane into this giant Green Lantern lantern, I think you'd call it, but it's all a dream. Kind of gets up, stops this car with the power of his ring. One other thing that it's present in this comic, but not really in the Green Lantern mythos that much, is that he can phase through physical objects. So he goes visits his friend at the hospital. He's worried about him, and he flies away before the police catch him, and he dons a mask created by the Green Lantern ring, just so people won't recognize him as Hal Jordan. And here we see the villain of the story is Legion, which is kind of this yellow robot, and he's following Abin Sur. He's kind of confused, thinking that Abin Sur is actually kind of clever disguise or clever plan, but we know that's not the case. And here Hal Jordan wants to turn himself in. His friend Andy told him that. And he kind of thinks about it and he's remorseful, thinks that that's the only way he can move forward is to do the time for his deeds. Now he gets into prison, and this is he actually gets into jail, so this is his friend, a guy he makes friends with in jail, but Legion pops in and he starts fighting with Hal Jordan, but Hal Jordan doesn't know the ring's weakness, which is the color yellow. I know it sounds kind of stupid, but it gets explored later on. It's a very interesting concept that they would do with this whole color thing. And Legion just keeps asking Hal Jordan a lot of questions he doesn't know, because Legion would expect Green Lantern to know these questions, but Hal Jordan basically was just made Green Lantern. So he's asking for Oa, for the Guardians, and then he just drops the ring. So Legion kind of stops fighting with him, because he only I think it's made so that it only interferes with Green Lantern. So this is the third issue, and here we'll see Legion destroying the hospital where Hal Jordan's friend Andy is in, and everyone else was in there. And again, Hal Jordan is very, very remorseful about this, because it's kind of his fault at the end of it, or the ring's fault at least. So we get this very cool shot of him watching the hospital, and now he's kind of piecing it together, and he's kind of angry at the ring, and he kind of figures out where he's gonna go next, because the hospital is where he firstly went with the ring on, and then he went to Ferris, and he kind of tries to activate it, but he can't, and so he needs the battery, and yeah, he gets charged. Now he kind of talks to the ring. Transformation is controllable by a process of ring recharge, and the ring kind of instructs him. And this is pretty funny. So, fine, thank you. So why didn't you tell me you could talk? No inquiry was made. So that's kind of funny, because who would expect the ring to talk? I didn't know it could talk. I knew it could kind of listen to what the user was doing, but I didn't know it could actually talk back. So he kind of finds out about Legion, origin planets 2817, 534, living arsenal superior to the powering capabilities, terminated 4 Green Lanterns, including the former bearer of this ring. So that's Abin Sur. So now the ring kind of does a playback, and we see Abin Sur, and he's followed by Legion, and they have a fight, which Abin Sur barely escapes. So this is funny too. So, can't I do anything? Affecting playback would not affect past reality. Knowledge gained through observing playback may affect future reality. It's kind of funny, like how the ring is very like sarcastic and condescending. And this is the weakness, because he's yellow. The Green Lantern can't really do much, but he manages at the end of it to toss out Legion into space, and he's wounded, and he crashes on Earth, which is where he dies, and sends the ring to find a good replacement. Then, while that happens, Legion also comes in, and Hal Jordan thinks the only way he can destroy him is through blowing the ship's nuclear powered engine, and he does so, but he survives. And now he goes to Oa to find out more about what this Green Lantern thing is, but Legion follows him, and he discovers these aliens, and the first one he discovers is Tomare, which is this guy with the fish look like. Tomare is pretty cool. I'll be honest with you, Tomare is pretty cool, and it's funny. Their interactions are pretty funny. So this is grass, but it's carnivorous. It gets out of hand when the blood drains dry up. So what they do is they just go crazy with like the sci-fi possibilities. And Hal Jordan says, well, if there's one thing you learn growing up in California, it's how to handle grass. Tomari says, wow, wait, sorry. How could I know that every time you cut one blade, two more take its place? So then Hal Jordan and Tomare discover Legion is coming, and they rush back to Oa, and this is where we get to know a bit more about the Guardians. They have like a sleep meditation thing that they do, I guess, yearly. We kind of meet this other guy, this purple one, whose name is Salak, and they go and find the book, which kind of holds most of the Guardians' knowledge. And this is the book. Like, if you expected something else, no, it's just a giant book. And they go on to find about Legion, and we find that there's this race of Chiki, or however you're supposed to pronounce them, and these are kind of like insect type of extraterrestrials, and they breed very fast, so they went and plundered and conquered a lot of planets in the galaxy, and the Guardians found them very, very dangerous, so they instead made this prison for them, which they would contain this race of aliens on the planet, and she kind of showed them trying to destroy the barrier, and they couldn't really do it. And it's funny because they all the time it goes give praise to the Guardians. It felt very religious, which I found kind of interesting. Like, it felt very, very cultish like, which was an interesting spin. And so everyone's calling him Rookie because he really is a rookie, and he thinks he vaporized Legion, but we know that didn't happen. And he kind of gets a pep talk by Tomare. Stop being like feeling so sorry about yourself. Your life kind of starts over once you're a Green Lantern. So he asked if he could be somehow present at the funeral of his friend Andy. So everyone's kind of mad because Hal Jordan didn't show up, but he made his projection, and this is his brother Jack, and he kind of tells him a bit of the story so far. And we see that Tomare is actually the one who did this because Hal Jordan doesn't know how to do it yet. So he meets his trainer Kilowog, which is a very, very cool character. So he teaches him the basics of flying. This is like seems so overpowered. So Uh, he says he one lap around the planet I got on you, and I think this was like a few seconds. So a lap of the planet in a few seconds, that's way too much. So now it's about strength, dexterity, um, all these kind of exercises with the ring, um, all of its power projections. I think that the official story is that it makes like hard light constructs. So this is Legion, kind of came to Oa, and he kind of beats everyone up, as we're gonna see. So the corpse, so the people we know, this is Kilowog, Hal Jordan, Tomare, Salak, I think is this guy's name, and this is supposed to be Sinestro, which we're gonna see in the second one. The second one is very focused on Sinestro. And there's a big battle, but the Guardians are losing. Like as you can see here on the cover, Legion kind of beats everyone up. And it's kind of normal because he was made to beat Guardians, Green Lanterns actually. So they're trying to reach the Guardians. They make this protective sphere, but it's not really helpful. Green Lanterns try to die left and right, and they kind of figure out, since the Green Lantern construct cannot harm him, they go and use that power and basically use rock or any other materials. Kilowog is believed dead, but he comes back, whacks him over the head. Everyone's kind of happy about him not being dead. Apparently he's a popular guy in the Green Lantern Corps. But he still manages to beat everyone and reach where the Guardians are having their sleep, and it's kind of a sleep meditation thing. So he kind of fights them, and they have this self-defense mechanism which sends some cables and get Legion and kind of immobilize him for a bit. But Hal Jordan has an idea, so he just rips the cable open, drags Legion, and puts him in mud. And now since it's covered in mud, he's not yellow anymore, so he can be affected physically by the Green Lantern's ring. And we kind of see here he does a bunch of like a baseball bat and various others, like boots, various other constructs. Since it takes up like the limit of the ring is its imagination. So now Legion kind of explains its reason, and it says that they were doomed to die on the planet because they're a migratory species. So that means they have like a high rate of births, and basically they consumed all the resources on the planet, which they were sentenced to live by the Green Lantern. So they focused all the resources left to make Legion, and Legion is kind of the embodiment of every last living member of that bug race. So it kind of questions the Guardians and wants to make Hal Jordan think about it, that he's not really the bad guy, he just wants revenge, and calls the Guardians genocidal. And Green Lantern says, yeah, you're right, the Guardians I don't know much about them, the Guardians don't seem like the perfect things, but there's one thing I do know and I'll never forget: you went after my people and you killed my friend. And they ask for death, they're not given death, and Hal Jordan opens up the armor, which leads to this monstrous goo thing, which kind of has tentacles and kind of absorbs Green Lanterns. And this, look at this third panel here, like, help me. And that's just like sad, you know. And they try lifting him, but it went through the ground and is trying to tap on Oa's power itself. And this is the sixth and final issue, and it's a very cool idea for a cover. It's not drawn perfectly, like you can see that some of these guys were like fully drawn, but it's a cool idea as a concept. So the Green Lanterns order a withdrawal. They kind of have a talk about it. It's better to just have the planet destroyed rather than the whole Green Lantern Corps. And they kind of give away the idea that there's this giant battery, green battery on Oa, and that's the true ultimate power of the lanterns. And Hal Jordan just flies into it, becomes this green fire, a flash of light, a blast of force. He is the power. He's kind of afraid too, but he managed to go through it. And he kind of just makes a tornado and blasts this thing off orbit. And then the Guardians kind of make a protective bubble around it, and they're gonna send it back to its original planet. And they're kind of troubled by Hal Jordan's power. The Guardians are. So let me rephrase that. The Guardians of Oa are terrified and kind of scared of Hal Jordan's power and the way he didn't really follow the orders properly. And they want to have a talk with him while they send like the other Green Lanterns to like take care of this. So they just kind of throw it there, and there to let the cycle of evolution begin anew and hope that this time life assumes a more benign form which will not require such harsh containment. So this issue is good because you kind of see both sides of the issue with this race. It's kind of their way of being, so they just multiply and conquer, but then again that's not good. So their punishment is severe, but then again their actions were severe. And Hal Jordan returns to Earth after this, pleads guilty, and he's kind of mad because he got 90 days in prison. And here kind of does the same thing as his father did. He doesn't really listen. Everyone tells him to abort, and he lands the plane safely. Carol cries tears of joy, but those become actual pain tears because she sees, or everyone sees the plane explode and assume Hal Jordan died. It's not really, because the ring protected him. So that's how this story ends. Emerald Dawn, the second story, takes place when Hal Jordan is in prison. So this first part is kinda, so Hal Jordan pleaded guilty to the court, went to prison, got out. Emerald Dawn just goes between him being sentenced to prison and finishing up the sentence, which I found quite interesting because it's a much better story than this one. Not that this one was bad, but I enjoyed the other one much more. But I'll do a video on that tomorrow. Until then, if you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you have any feedback on the video, the story, Green Lanterns in general, anything related to its mythos, any videos you guys want me to make, leave comments, and please subscribe. Thank you. Bye.